Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I've been away for quite a while, but I am back today to show off one of my most favorite LEGO Star Wars vehicles of all time. That being the ETA-2, aka the Jedi Interceptor. Now, a little bit of a backstory. I have always been a really big fan of these Star Wars vehicles, I guess you would say, these starships. I was a big fan since I was a kid, and I love them. So when I eventually got my own Lego version of it, I was genuinely happy. However, as I grew up, I realized that it was just a little bit too big. And so I did eventually try and find smaller versions, and I did find a smaller version, which I did buy, and then I did actually review on this channel, which is No One Likes Cherry's ETA-2. And I liked it, I really did, but it felt too big for my personal preference, and also that build was not really as durable, I would say. I was determined to find something that was just a little bit smaller and just a little bit more durable, and that's when I stumbled upon this YouTuber's MOC for an ETA-2. Now, I don't really remember his name, however, I will have his stuff linked down in the description. And again, I ran into his YouTube video and I felt really inspired. I was actually planning on building his ETA-2 exactly one for one. However, I did run into a few limitations, and when I did eventually finish, I realized that I didn't really like it all that much. So I took it upon myself to improve his MOC. Now, I did understand that his MOC did have limitations. He wanted to keep it small enough to fit in another MOC, which was of, I don't really remember the vehicle ship, but he wanted to keep it small basically, so he did have limitations. I, however, did not. I want to make something that's really small, but also really accurate. That's when I came up with this. Now, I am going to show some side-by-side pictures, and as you can see, his is really simple. He needed it to be really small, and mine is a little bit more detailed. And really, when I was thinking about this, is how could I get it as accurately as possible while having as much detail as I could possibly cram into this, and also make it durable. Now, some things that I improved on my MOC that weren't necessarily there on his MOC were, first of all, the thing that I personally like the most is the little blasters on the side of the ship. I really like the fact that I managed to put that detail in there. Originally, it wasn't even going to be there at all, but the fact that I, managed to put it in there is just, I like it. It's a small touch. Another thing that I added was this little circle gray piece that's supposed to be in the middle of the ship. I don't necessarily know what it's called, but the little window thing there, what's supposed to be a window. I added it. It's something that wasn't originally there. I'm not necessarily proud of it, but it does make the build a little more sturdy than what he originally had. So I like it because it makes it more sturdy, and it kind of works, but it's not necessarily the best option in my opinion. If there are any other options, I definitely would go for them, but for right now, that's the best that I had with the pieces that I had. A couple other things that weren't necessarily there were these plate things. I don't really know what to call them. I'm not necessarily a Lego expert, but these things are also something that weren't originally in his MOC, but something that I personally wanted to add, as I felt like it added a little bit more detail. And as well as these circle plates. And finally, another thing that I changed were the blasters, or the things that are like in the middle of the ship. I also changed those. I personally like the way I did it. His weren't too bad either. Those actually looked really good, but I like my version better. And yeah, this is pretty sturdy, I would say. I've dropped this at least twice now and it hasn't broken. I could kind of, wiggle this thing around. It's not gonna fall, it's not gonna break. The only complaint that I have with this one is that it's kind of hard to evenly, put the wings up. It's either sometimes I put this too high and so this is too low, or this is too high and this is too low. Or both of them are a little too high, and so the canopy just sits up a little bit high. But eventually, when you do find the sweet spot, it is amazing. It is gorgeous, and yeah, this is my definitive version of the Lego ETA-2. I'm not gonna change it unless I find something better than this. But as far as I know, I'm stuck with this, and I'm gonna make an army of these. I'm gonna start off with the Obi-Wan one, and then I'm going to work towards the Darth Vader version, and then I'm going to make a version for every single Star Wars characters until I can't make any more, and I'm going to have an army of these, because that's how much I love ETA-2s. So yeah, if you like this video, please consider subscribing, sharing, all that sweet stuff. Let me know what you want to see in the next video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.